In this lesson, we will learn how Cursor Agent can access terminal, run commands in the background, for example, run your project. And also we will learn how to use Cursor Agent with browser so it can run your app, make screenshots, fill the forms, interact with your app, and do some testing of your app. So let's get started. So we have our interview prep web app. If you remember from previous lessons, I usually type some random text instead of actually answering questions from the mock interview. But what if I want our agent to do this instead of myself? So I switch to Agents tab, and now we will use two things. First is Terminal. Cursor Agent can run commands in Terminal in the background. It means that anything you can run in command line yourself, it can run it for you. So you just need to ask it. And if I want Cursor to run our project, I can just type run the project and start the agent. You see that it is executing the command npm run dev. And now if you go to this localhost address, we can see that the project is actually running thanks to Cursor. This command line integration allows you to do a lot of other things you can do manually in the command line. So you can just ask Cursor Agent, what can you do with the command line? And see it can help you with package management, development workflow, so building server. It can run the build, iterate on the output if needed. It can interact with your GitHub. So for example, if you have some merge conflict, or if you want to review pull request, or you want to commit your code, do some rebase, whatever, just use agent and ask it what you want to do. It can do file operations, and it can rename files. It can organize files into folders, and also some other things like process management, environment, debugging. And I guess you are limited by your imagination only. So if you have any command line tool which is kind of well known, just feel free to ask the agent, and it can probably help you to run it, to analyze the output, and to do something about it. Let's now try to combine this command line tool with the browser. So I want to run the agent. So the agent will run our dev server, and then it will run the Chrome browser, interact with it. It will fill job description, and then it needs to chat with LLM to do this mock interview and just test everything. So for this, I will write simple prompt, run the app in the terminal, and do the interview answering all the questions using browser. So in order to turn on the browser, I need to click here, and I can select either browser tab. It will be then open here in Cursor, or you can select Google Chrome. For testing, I would use Google Chrome, as I find it a bit more responsive in terms of interaction. So let's run this prompt. So we see that it is running development server. Now it's just open the browser. I moved the browser to the cursor. It navigated to this localhost 3000. Now it added some job description here. It clicked start interview. You see that it is making screenshots of the full page just to understand where everything is located and where to click. Where is the form? Okay, now it just typed the response to the question. Clicked send. You see that there is a second question. So you see typed, I recently worked on blah, blah, blah. If you click on screenshot, you just see the screenshot it made. Next response, question 4. Now the last question in our mock interview. Okay, submitted. And now we see that our app is responding with this strength and areas for improvement, overall assessment. Okay, now you can see the summary interview process. Started dev server, provided job description, answered all 5 questions, some highlights, etc. Now you see how this agent browser interaction works in terms of like screenshots, identifying the location where it needs to click or where it needs to fill the form. Now I want the agent to check browser console in case of there are any errors. Check browser console, any errors. So check logs, nothing, no errors there. Any server errors. So because you know that agent is running our dev server, it has access to output logs, so it can check whether there are any errors. So you can see the logs for like page loading and for all API requests. So there's no errors. Obviously, if there were some errors, you can ask agent to fix them, to implement them in your code and just to test the same thing again, do the same interview and see if errors were actually fixed.